All right, let's get right into it. We're talking about maybe the single most stressful part of growing a business, and that's hiring. But we're going to talk about how to take it from this, chaotic, panic-driven mess and turn it into a totally predictable, data-driven system for growth. Let's do this.
This quote just hits the nail on the head. A golden cage. What does that even mean? Well, it means you're successful, right? You're making fantastic money, but you are absolutely trapped. Every single dollar you make depends on you showing up and doing the manual labor, living with that constant stress of not knowing when you're supposed to hire the next person.
And this slide lays out the dilemma so perfectly. It's the lose-lose situation that hiring based on your gut feeling creates. You hire too soon, boom, your profit margins are just getting eaten alive by payroll you can't really support yet. But you wait too long until everyone is totally fried, well then your service quality tanks and your reputation takes a massive hit. It's a total trap. Now, this trap, this whole reactive cycle, it has a very real cost. And it's not just about feeling stressed out. It's a deep systemic failure. We actually have a name for it, the hidden fragility tax. It's this unseen price you pay for having a fragile system. So let's diagnose exactly what it's costing you.
So what is this tax? Well, it's the price you pay every single time you, as the leader, have to jump in and personally absorb all the overflow work just to keep things from completely falling apart. It might feel like you're being the hero, but what's really happening is you're getting burned out and putting an artificial ceiling on your company's growth. Your burnout isn't a personal failure. It's a tax that gets slapped on you by a fragile system. And here's exactly why that tax is so incredibly high. When you play the hero, you create what's called a single point of failure. The entire operational capacity of your firm ends up hinging on one person's, your, ability to tolerate pain. That is not a durable business model. It's a system that is 100% guaranteed to break eventually. Okay, so that's the problem. How do we fix this? How do we escape this trap and stop paying this ridiculous tax? Well, it takes a really fundamental shift in how we think. We have to move from chaos to capacity, from being about manual labor to being about systemic execution.
What I love about this slide is how clearly it shows the change. On the left, that's the old way, right? You soak up all the extra work until you just can't take it anymore, and then you panic hire someone. But on the right, that's the new way. Growth that's actually governed by a predictable mathematical model. It's about building an advisory platform that can scale without you having to be the engine. And the operating system for this whole new model is something called the capacity threshold. And look, this is not a feeling, it is a number. It's a defined mathematical breaking point for every single role in your organization. This is how you finally turn growth from a source of stress into just a schedule. So, this is the crucial part. How do we actually do this? How do we find that magic number? Let's get really tactical now and break down exactly how you can calculate your team's breaking point and build that predictable, data-driven schedule for growth. And you know what? It's a pretty simple three-step process. First, you figure out the unit capacity for a specific role. Second, you define its absolute breaking point. And third, and this is key, you set up an early warning system, the staffing trigger, that tells you when to start hiring way before you actually hit that breaking point. Let's look at a real-world example to make this stick. Say we've got a transaction coordinator. For them, the unit of measure is active files. So after we do a little analysis, we figure out their maximum capacity. Their absolute breaking point is 15 files. Any more than that, and you know the quality of service is going to start to suffer. So do we wait until they hit 15 files to hire? Absolutely not. The hiring trigger is set before the breaking point. So in this case, it's at 12 active files. The second that 12th file gets opened, boom, the process to hire the next coordinator kicks off automatically. The decision is made by data, not by how tired you feel. It's a number, not a feeling. Okay, this is where we need to be really direct. This isn't just some nice-to-have management tool. Putting this system in place is a high-stakes, absolutely non-negotiable mandate if you want to build a real institutional firm, and not just a high-paying job that you can never, ever quit. This quote just says everything, doesn't it? You have to decouple your emotional state from your operational decisions. An institutional firm runs on data, on systems. A reaction chamber runs on adrenaline and burnout. The choice is yours. So let's put your firm to the test right now. First up, the absence test. Imagine you were on a flight, totally unreachable, and a massive wave of new business hits. what happens? Would your system automatically trigger a new hire to handle that volume? Or would the whole thing just collapse because you weren't there to personally soak up all the extra work?
Next, the autonomy check. And be honest with yourself on this one. Have you actually done the math? Have you defined your team's capacity? Or are you secretly, or let's be real, maybe not so secretly, keeping the whole operation running on your own adrenaline? Maybe because your ego kind of needs to feel like the indispensable hero when things get crazy?
And finally, the asset validation. This one is all about the long-term value of your business. Does your firm actually have the predictable, data-driven models that an investor or a potential buyer would look at and say, wow, that's a valuable, durable asset? Or is it just a fragile house of cards built on your personal heroics? So, here it is. This is the final takeaway. It's a simple but really profound command. Define the threshold, trigger the hire, and build the platform. That is how you escape that golden cage once and for all.